Hey everybody, welcome to Daily Action Picks. My name is Joe Dellera and I have 3 best bets for tonight's NBA slate. The first bet that I have, we're going to be looking at the Knicks versus the Jazz. And the Knicks are 7.5 point underdogs here, and they've struggled recently, and they've actually dropped 8 of their last 10 games. And they have the league's 3rd worst offense over this stretch, and their defense is actually 14th over this time frame. But based on point differential, the Knicks actually were a little bit unlucky, as they have about 1.3 fewer wins than projected over that time based on the point differential that they have. One bright spot for the New York Knicks has been RJ Barrett. He's been absolutely electric. You saw him jam down that fast break dunk on the Lakers the other night, but it hasn't necessarily been enough. But over the last 7 games, he's been the clear primary offensive option, and he's averaged 23.1 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.1 assists. And I like this spot against the Jazz team that doesn't have Rudy Gobert. Gobert's missed the last 6 games for the Jazz, and he's expected to miss tonight's game against the Knicks. And without him, they're just 2-4. And Gobert is by far the Jazz's best defensive player, and opponents score nearly 10 points fewer when he's on the floor. So he's an elite rim protector and dramatically improves the team's half-court defense. And this is a spot the Knicks like to play in. The Knicks play slow. They play at one of the league's slowest paces in the league. They take their time on offense, and they prefer to play in the half-court. And this makes Gobert's absence even more significant. And although the Jazz have Donovan Mitchell coming back, and he played well in his return from the concussion protocols, I think this is too many points to lay, especially considering that they're 9-18 against the spread as home favorites this season. Without Gobert, the Jazz allow 115.6 points per 100 possessions, and that's just the medicine this Knicks offense needs to get rolling. So I'll back the Knicks as a road dog against the shorthanded Jazz, who may also be without Jordan Clarkson, and I'll also take RJ Barrett to continue his hot streak against the Jazz, who are without their best defensive player. So my 2 best bets for this game are the Knicks plus 7.5 and RJ Barrett to go over his 20.5 point total, a number he's cleared in 5 of the last 7 games. My next best bet is the Miami Heat heading over to Washington and taking on the Wizards. Miami's one of the best teams in the league and is a top seed in the Eastern Conference. And one of their strengths has been their resilience and their depth. So even though both Jimmy Butler and Tyler Hero are questionable for this matchup, they're still going to be armed with Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo at a minimum. And in terms of adjusted net rating, Miami is 5th with a top 10 offense and defense, while the Wizards are listed at 23rd, and they're below average and in the bottom third of both offense and defense. One of the issues for the Wizards is they remain without Bradley Beal, and Daniel Gafford is in health protocols. So they're left with a center position really that's just going to be filled by Tomas Bryant. And the Wizards have had quite the fall from grace over the last 2 weeks, as they're just 1-4 with the league's worst offense and the 5th worst defense. And we saw what another elite team in the Suns did against this team, and they just absolutely eviscerated the Wizards and held them to a mere 80 points on Saturday. So this Wizards team, I don't expect them to have any answer for Bam Adebayo on the interior, and this spread is just way too short at 4.5. We already saw it move from the opener at 4, and I'd imagine that this line is going to move overnight, and I would take this up to 5 as well. Especially because the Wizards, they failed to cover in 5 consecutive home games, and they're just a shocking 1-9 against the spread over their last 10 games. And I think the spread is overvaluing the absence or the potential absence of both Butler and Hero simply because of their pedigree, and not looking at the matchup as a whole, where we can see that this Miami team is much deeper and much better from top to bottom than this Washington Wizards team. So I'll back Miami to cover the 4.5 on the road as the far superior team. Those are my 3 best bets for Monday's NBA slate. Thanks for listening to Daily Action Picks. I'm Joe Dellera. That's at Joe Dellera. Let me know in the comments if you're riding, if you're following, and hit me up on Twitter if you have any questions about these picks. And stay tuned every day for more free daily action picks.